Hello and welcome to another tutorial. My name is Ruben, I'm a GIS specialist, and for today I'm going to show you how to represent monthly precipitation data in ArcGIS Pro. In this video I will start by showing you where I downloaded the necessary data to do this project, the location of the meteorological stations, and the monthly average precipitation data over the last 9 years. Then we will process this information in an Excel file, where I will show you some formulas that will make it easier for us to analyze and process the data. After this part, we will import our data into ArcGIS Pro, and using Spatial Analysis Tools, we will represent the monthly average precipitation for the Algarve region, located in the south of Portugal. Finally, we will create this intuitive layout. This will help the visualization and the analysis of the precipitation history in this region. So without much further ado, let's move on to the video. So the first thing I'm going to need is the data. So for that I will go to my browser and I will type SNIR and go to this website. Now let me translate this page to English. Now we click right here on Networks. Then we search for Meteorological. Apply filters. In this map we have all the stations on Portugal. I want to select a few stations from the south, from Algarve. Let me zoom and select a couple of stations. So let me try this one, for example. This one. I'm selecting stations to cover all the area that I'm going to do the analysis. Now that I have all the stations, I click right here to validate the list. Okay, in this section I will choose the precipitation data. For this example will be monthly precipitation, this one. For these stations we have data from 1931 to 2024. Then we click right here to view save data. As you can see, in the first years only one station have data. Let me scroll down to see. Okay, we can see now that the most recent years have more data than the first years. Actually, for example, this one doesn't have data in any of the years. Now to export this table, click right here, export to CSV. Let me go to the download folder. It's this one. Let me cut and paste it on a new folder. We'll call it YouTube tutorial. Let me paste it right here. Change the name to precipitation. And now let me open and view this Excel spreadsheet. So the first step is to change this to from text to columns. So click right here, then delimited, comma, and click finish. Now I will just remove columns and rows that we don't need. For example, this flag. So let me select them and delete these ones as well. And 1, 2, 3, and I think, yeah, one more. Now just delete this row, the first ones as well, and I believe that on the bottom we have, yes, these ones as well. Now we need to format the date. To do that, just click on this column, then go to Home and change General to Short Date Format. Okay. Now we need a column for the month, so right click on the build column and click on insert, call it month. And now what I'm going to do is to extract the month from the column data. So to do that, you just type equal text, open parenthesis, select the cell right on the left, semicolon, comma, comma, and close parenthesis. Then you just drag to the bottom, and now we have all the months in this column. Now for the next step, we need to calculate the average for each month in each station. To do this analysis, let me just create a new sheet in this file. Okay. Let me click on this plus button. I will call it months. We'll copy the stations to the first row and create on this column the months. 1, 2, 3. Let me drag like this. And now to calculate the average for each month in each station, just type equal average IFS, open brackets, go to the precipitation sheet, select the column of the station, then semicolon, and select the column of the month. I'm going to put a $sign right here so that when I drag the data, I don't lose the selection of this cell. Then semicolon, and in this sheet, I will select the month right here. Let me drag to December. Let me reduce the decimal places, and then we can drag like this. Okay, something is wrong. Let me try to figure it out. Okay, we need a $sign right here as well. Let me do this again and let me see. And it worked. We can see that this station don't have data, so we can delete it. This one, we don't have data for October, so we will delete it as well. And the last one, we will delete as well. Now what we want is to import these stations to our GIS software. In this case, we are going to work on ArcGIS Pro. So what we need is, of course, the latitude and longitude. So right here on the website, just click on characteristics of the stations. I will place it right here on the right and the Excel file on the left. Before we go to the coordinates, let me change these stations from columns to rows. Let me just copy and now transpose. And to be easier, let me change the months. Okay, actually, let me reduce the decimal places once again. And now we can change the text on the months. So January, February. Let me just write all the months. November and December. Okay. Now right here on the left, just click on insert. Insert once again. Then you can type longitude or latitude or X and Y. And now right here on the right, we just search for each station and the latitude and longitude. All these coordinates are in WGS 84. Let me just try to find all the coordinates for each one of the stations that we are going to use on the creation of this map, and simply copy and paste on your Excel. Let me change the font of these numbers. We also need to replace points to commas, like this. And now we just can save. Let me close all these pages and open ArcGIS Pro. While we wait for ArcGIS to open, let me go to my browser and download our area of interest shapefile. So I'll go to diva.gis download. I'll search for Portugal, and we can click OK and then download. Let me go back to ArcGIS Pro and create a new map. Let me create a new folder as well in my desktop, and I will call the project Precipitation. Click OK. It seems that diva.gis is not working. So let me try a new website. This example will be the official Portugal place or website to download administrative areas. It's this shapefile. In ArcGIS Pro, I will go to View, click on Catalog pane, and I will just create a folder connection on my folder. So I will click OK, and now I can easily access my folder. Let me drag the Excel we were working on my project, and as you can see, we have all the stations with the precipitation data and latitude and longitude. Let me extract the area of interest as well. And for this tutorial, let me refresh. Okay, and I will just need this one, NUT 3. Let me drag and drop. The region we are going to work is Algarve, so I will just select it and export my selection. So right click on the shapefile and export features. Let me call it Algarve. Now we can remove the NUT 3. And since we have the longitude and latitude on this table, we can click right here on Create Points from Table, XY Table to Point. The X field will be the longitude, the Y field the latitude, and the coordinate system will be WGS 1984. Let me save this shapefile in my folder. I will call it Stations. And we have our stations in our map. Now what we are going to do is represent the precipitation for each one of the stations and each one of the months. So go to Analysis, click on this arrow, More Tools, and search for EDW. Then you drag and drop the stations to the input features. You say that you want to evaluate the month, so in this case we will start by January. Then you create your output, give it a name, and give a cell size. For this example, I will choose 10 meters. Then for the extent, I will choose the Algarve layer. For the mask, the Algarve as well, and click Run. Okay, let me move this to the bottom. And as you can see, we have the higher precipitation values on this white color and the lower with greens. Now we just need to repeat this process to each one of the months. So to do this, go to parameters, just change this to February, change the output name to Feb, and click Run. And now we just do this process to the rest of the months. Okay, now March, and we just need to repeat this process. Okay, now we can do April. It's super easy, just change the Z value field and the output raster. Okay, now May. Let's now do November. And to finish, the last month, December. Now the next step is to set the number of classes that we want to represent in our final map. To do this, the first thing we are going to do is to check our Excel file once again. So let's go back to the folder and search for it. Let me open this one. What I am going to do is to set equal classes or equal intervals to 5 classes. So the lower value is right here in June, it's 0. And the higher values, it seems that is on this one. No, it's this one on December in the Subreira station. So for example, we are going to set 5 intervals from 0 to 250. Let's start for December, for example, click right here on symbology, and we can see that we have values from 21 to 238. So in this example, we will set right here to 5 classes. Now let me change this one to 250, this one to 200, the third 150, 100, and this one is lower than 50. Then we just need to change our color classes. So let's go to from white to dark blue. Since we are representing the precipitation values, it's a good practice to use like blues or even purples to represent this type of events. Now let's change the classes of November. Once again, click on symbology. Now we have from 33 to 91, so we have 2 classes. So we have classes from 0 to 100. Once again, this one will be 100 and this one lower than 50. The first class will be white. And the second, it will be this blue. And now we just proceed to do the exactly same thing to the rest of the month. Let's do once again for October, just for the example. Right here we have 2 classes once again. It will be lower than 100 and lower than 50. and this one will be white again, and this one is blue. The last one will be January, so let's click once again on symbology. As we can see, we have the 5 classes. So let's type 250, 200, 150, 100, and the final one lower than 50. The first one will be the white, now this light blue, now this one, this, and the last one, this dark blue. Now that we have all the months represented, what we are going to do is create our layouts. First, let's change the symbology of the Algarve layer. Let me change this outline and remove the color. And let me drag this layer to the top as well. Okay, let me move this to the top, right here. Now let's set the name of each one of the stations as a label. So right here, click on F1 in this case, that's the name of the stations, and then right click and click on label. Let me change the symbology, go once again to labeling properties, then click on symbol. Let me do this bold, and okay, it seems better. Now what we need to do is create 12 different data frames. So to do this, just click on new map, change the name of each one of them, and remove the base maps. So the first one will be January, the second one February, the third one March, then April, May, June, July, until you reach the 12 months, so December. Let's do this for the last one. Let's change this to December, like this. Now the next step is super easy. Just select all of the layers, then click on Ctrl+C to copy. Then select the new data frame, click right here, and then Ctrl+V to paste all the layers in this map. And then we just need to do this for all the data frames. Remove these base maps in November and paste the layers, and let's do the same thing for December. Now the next thing we are going to do is just select all the layers that we don't need. So in this example, for example, on January, we just need the January layer and then delete all of the rest. So for example, in March, we just stay with March, the stations and the Algarve layer. In April, we just need the April, the Algarve layer and the stations as well. Yeah, I deleted all of it, but we need the stations and the Algarve. And then we just do this process for each one of the data frames. Now that we have all the data frames set, we can go to the next part of this tutorial. So click right here on Insert, then New Layout, and click on A4 in this Landscape tab. Now to insert all the data frames in our layout, right here on the Insert tab, click on Map Frame, and then you choose the month that you want to represent. So in this example, I will choose first the January, then February, March, until we reach the last one, that is December. So just select it and drag it to your map. And since we want to represent the maps to be all on the same size, we just need to change right here on the bottom left the scale of the month. So let me see if we can search a cool scale to be represented. I will choose this one. So we need to do the same for all the maps. So we just copy the scale right there, and then we just select the second one, for example, February. I will just do this in this January map to be on the same size. And then since I copy the scale of the last one, we just need to paste it right here and click on enter, and then the map will be on the same scale of the previous one. Now let's do the same thing for March. Okay, just drag it like this to be on the same size of January and February, then copy the scale right there and click on enter, and then we just need to do this for all of the months. Now let's finish with December. So once again, go to map frame, choose December, and drag it like this to your map. Paste the scale, click on enter, and I noticed that the January is wrong, so I will delete this because I think, let me see what I did wrong. Yeah, I chose the June map and not the January, so let me correct this. Let's drag the January, change the scale once again, and as we can see, we don't have a full white map, but we have a lot of blues. One more thing I want to do is to remove these codes from each one of the stations. So as you can see, all the stations have a name and then a little code that I want to remove, so our map will be more readable, so we don't have a lot of letters in our map. Since I didn't do this on the beginning of this video, I will need to do this to one of the stations and then copy and paste to each one of the data frames. So let's open the attribute table, and right here on the F1 column, just select the letters or the text you want to remove and click on delete, and do this for all of the stations like I'm doing right here. So let's delete these last two like this. We can close the attribute table. Let me just go here and lower the size of the font, and as you can see, the map is way more readable. Now we need to copy this layer, then go to each one of the data frame, remove the last layer and copy the new one, and let's do this process to each one of the data frames. Okay, really fast, like I'm doing right here. Just remove the last one and paste it, and paste the new one like this. Let me save the project. Okay. Let's now add elements to our map. Let's start by the north arrow, like this on the top left corner. Let me do this like this. Now we can have a scale. I like to choose this one. Select the scale bar. Go to properties. I would like to change this label text to KM. Then go right here. Subdivisions 0. I want to represent ends and 0. And let me reduce the size of the text a little bit. Right here on text symbol, for example, to 7. And I think it's okay. Now just select the north arrow and the scale, and since all the maps are on the same scale, we can just copy and paste the scale and the north arrow. So do the same process to this one. And now what I'm going to do is actually select all the three elements of the three maps and copy, and then we can drag to the bottom like this. Now let's select all of them and do the same thing for the last ones. Okay. Let me correct here on December. I didn't copy, but let me correct this. So let's drag it to here. Like this. And our scale and north arrow is finished. So every map has a scale bar and a north arrow. Now let's label each one of the map. Let's start by January. So I will give the name of January. Let me do this in uppercase. Now go to properties. First select the text and go to properties. Let me play a little bit with the text symbol. For example, go right here on callout and choose background. Select the color, for example, blue. And then let's reduce these margins a little bit. And there we have our label for the first map. And then we just copy, drag it to the next map and change the name. And then we just do this for each one of the months. So January, February, then just copy and paste it right here, change the name to March, this one to April, and we do this for each one of the map. Now let's finish with December. Okay, let's adjust it like this. Now let's remove the outline for each one of the maps. So let's select all of them with the Shift key pressed, go to properties, then click right here, and on the border we choose no color. Okay. To finish, let's create a manual legend. So let's start by adding some text. Let's give a name of, for example, average precipitation, months. Then we need to represent the temporal scale. So let's go back to our Excel file and see the first and the last years that have data. So the first one is 1931 and the last one I think is 2024. Yes, so let's type this on our legend. So this data is from 1932 to 2024. Okay, let me drag this to here. Then click right there on graphics and text and choose the rectangle and drag it like this to your map. And then we just repeat these 5 times because we have 5 classes. So the first one will be white, the second one that light blue, and so on and so forward. We need to reduce the size a little bit, like this. Let me copy and paste the last one. And let's adjust it. So each one of the rectangle is connected. Like this. Now let's select this and move it to the center of the page. Okay, let's move this to here. Let me now do the scale. So it goes from 0 to 250. So right here will be 0. So the first class starts from 0 and goes to 50. Then the second one goes from 50 to 100. The third one from 100 to 150. Then to 200. And the last one from 200 to 250. These are values in millimeters, so let me add millimeters right here on this text. And now let's change the color of each one of the rectangles. So the second one will be this blue. Let's remove the outline color. For the first class, since it's white, we need to change the background color to maybe a gray. I will do this later. Let's not change for the fourth class. And to finish the fifth class, so the higher class, with the darker blue. Okay, like this. Now let's remove the outline color of the white one. To change the background, one simple trick you can do it is just drag a big rectangle to your page. Adjust it like this. Then just drag it all the way to the bottom to be behind all the elements of your layout. Like this. Let me do this, okay? And then we just change the symbology of this rectangle. So click on Properties, go right here to Symbol, change the color to gray, and remove the outline color. And now we can see the first class in white. And now our map is fully finished. Thank you for watching. If you like this type of content, don't forget to like, subscribe and comment what you want to learn next.